Mellow out, Afterburner.
Says who?
They call me Lightspeed, faster than a speeding photon.
Strafe, transform! Strafe, proceed to disarm Unicron's interior defenses!
Welcome back to the Tacticlord Hanger. This is Mike. Today I want to talk to you about the Craftsman Toys Tacticlord's Speed Drive and Steel Wing. Now this is the third set they put out. The first one was an individual figure starting with one leg, and then they put out a 2-pack, and then this is the last arm and leg. It's not really costing you an arm and leg because you can get it from Show Z Store. They sent this out for me. I have a link down below where you can get this for yourself also and combine a Legends Scale Computron. Not only is it the best Legends Scale Computron ever made, it's the only one. So anyway, we're gonna get into taking a look at this and do some comparison. We'll compare it to the vintage and of course all the other Legend stuff that's going on out there. Let's take a look at this Craftsman Toys Tacticlord Speed Drive and Steel Wings coming up. Never been accused of being a poser before, but lately I've been trying to match my pose for my figure to the artwork on the box. Did I get close? All right, let's get into the box, and there it is. It looks a little bit G1-esque-ish, but yet different and cartoony, and even though it's stylized cartoony. Oh, we got to turn it this way now. Look at it. It's the box. Nothing too special. Feels kind of budget. Here they are right out of the package, and I gotta say this, the bot modes are definitely not their best mode. They are a bit stylized, they are kind of chunky, but they're not bad. They're not horrible. They are, in my opinion, the engineering was to give the alt mode and the combined mode the best of the best, and some of it just kind of like ends up being not the greatest, most G1 accurate look for the bots, but is stylized, and they do still look pretty decent and pretty cool. I mean, you could tell sort of who's who and what's going on with all this. But anyway, this is a good little set of figures. We're gonna finish it up. If it's right exactly in line with what they're doing in the past with all these other figures, and so far it's worked. So anyhow, let's get a look at one of these at a time here. Here's this guy. I guess they call this one the Steel Wings. No, Speed Drive. This one got to be Speed Drive here. And forgive me for not remembering the G1 names for all these, because Computron, I like Computron, and I'm definitely going to keep up with them. I'm going to have to learn all the names of the individual ones as we go, but let's get a little articulation so we can get to know this guy. Let's get to know him. You can put his arms down like this too. Head side to side, up and down. You can go. Just his shoulder blocks a lot, but you can get his shoulder down here too. It's for the transformation probably for the most part. Very tight shoulder joint, but you can get the 360 out of it. You can get the bicep swivel, no double hinge. It goes past the 90, and you got the hand, which will move to tuck in for transformation. Waist swivel side to side. Got a magic square ab crunch, like to the extreme. Wax a chump like a candle, and then you do have this hip flap. So there's a hip flap, goes 90 to the front, almost 90 to the back, and the side goes out to about there, and very tight friction-based joints, thigh swivel. It feels like a double joint at the knee, but it gets in the way of itself because he's bulky. See, and the transformations are already complex enough for these little dudes. I wouldn't want them to have like tried to hide this around the back or something. That would have been more. But some people that want in a bot mode one probably would have wanted that little movement here in the foot. Got some toe, foot movement. So you can really, oddly enough, these two guys both have toe poses, and it works. And articulation is probably almost exactly the same on this guy. I don't really see the point of going through it. They're similar types of engineering, similar type of articulation for both of these, or pretty much all 5 of these. For the most part. So let's go ahead and talk a little bit about some accessorizing here. For accessories, you get earrings. Oh wait, no, this is the 80s. Shoulder pads. These are going to be added onto the combined mode, so we will be doing that here in a bit. Also, you get to the hand in a slappy hand pose, but we can actually articulate that. And then we've got stilettos, shoes, boots. Yeah, there we go. Then more accessories that we have here. We've got the guns. Now these have dual purpose guns, tri-purpose guns. Okay, he can hold them and dual wield them. He can put them on his shoulders and be super G1-y if he wants, or he can put them onto his backpack. Now to put them on the backpack, it's not very obvious or clear, but there's like this little notch, and there's a tab right there, and this is where it plugs in. But it holds okay. And then once it's closed, it holds really good. So that is how that works. And you can tuck this handle up in there, which we will later, but I'm leaving the handles out just because that's just how I choose to do it. So you can do a lot of options with that. And this guy comes with a gun. There's his gun, and I believe it transforms. So what happens, it transforms. You can tuck it into his rear of his car, and to his under trunk is, yeah, that's what I'm going to call it. And so it does have some storage in vehicle mode. Those are the accessories. It actually has to come with quite a few. And if you like cards, they don't let you down. There's cards. For comparison, we have the Magic Square Optimus Prime, and we've got the Magic Square Hound, so you can size and scale, but more over than size and scale, which they scale fine for me. The aesthetic. They are definitely stylized. They don't look super duper G1-y, which is fine, because mine's going to be in combined mode, and that is what I care about. Here's a G1, so you can see size bigger than G1. He's missing his front piece, so I might use them as a car comparison, but my good one's on the combiner, and I don't want to break anything trying to disassemble that. So there we go with size and scale and comparison. Let's get into some transformations. Now for some transformation, I'm going to try to get the ball rolling and try to speed this up. So I got the ball rolling on that side. Let's get over here and flip this hand over, lift this up, tuck it all in, and then we're going to get over here. We're going to move this up to here, and then we're going to slightly move that, and then we create part of the side of this beast. It's a whole lot of fun. And then we can unfold some of this, and we can see the car starting to take the shape here, almost like that. And we have the front piece here. I don't know what they call that, the bonnet. Do they call that the bonnet? So we got all this going on. Boom, boom, boom. We're close. We're almost there. We gotta do the feet. There's a little more to it with the feet. Well, before we get to the feet, let's rotate this dude. So now you can see, like, it's gonna come out on me here. Oh, come on. It was better before I rotated it. Now we're gonna get into the lower part here, which shouldn't be too big of a deal. All right, so before we get any further, we do need to put these hip flaps up, and it should tuck in there. That'll make this close better. But then there's something really strange. Look, I've already done one. Check that out. What you do is you lift up on this thigh, and it'll free up this to rotate around. And you push back down on the thigh, then you can flip this back around. What it does is it just basically makes this cavity to where this will fold in better. So that is something different. So come around here to the back. I popped that off twice now. It's my fault. I make mistakes, so you don't have to. Yay, lift up on this bar here, fold this up. This is going to come around and make just kind of like a small side panel piece right there. And then with this, we are going to tuck this up here, and this kind of hood opens up a little bit. You're going to bring all this together, tighten that up, and we're going to do the same thing on the other side, which it's not that hard. So remember to lift up on this bar, then fold this out. See, I still pop them off on both sides. It's just tight. Tight little spot there. Okay, lift it up and clear the wheel. I think you can actually pull this out just a little bit to help get a little bit of clearance. So that when it comes around, there it goes. And then we're going to fold all this up into here, tighten that up to return to an alt mode. And then we're going to, this is actually a combiner wars maneuver right here, and plug it all in together. Now there's tabs on the top of this small door panel there, and there we go. Should be good. Let's embark on the next one. Now for this guy, we need to turn the hand sideways, open this up, fold the sideways hand in, and then you got this little nub that's gonna stick out. You're gonna flip it around like so, get the wing right there, pull this out, fold these little tabs down. This needs to straighten. Ooh, that didn't sound good. Bring these down here. We're gonna pull the head up, fold this, come on, this piece out like right here, and then all right, so we need to actually get this configured to look like this, so it fits in there. I think that's right. Then we're gonna lift this up and open this up, and then we need to sort of elongating this segment here, so you got a longer than it would be there, kind of some mass shifting in a way. And then this should slide in like so. It won't sit the way I thought it was going to sit, but there we go. That's where it's at. Okay, now it goes in. I'm not exactly sure. So this whole hinge piece has to go all the way through. There we go. That's what makes that work. So this is about where it should be right now. So we need to kind of pop this up. And we are going to come around here and open up all of these wings and stuff. This will open up, and then this will just kind of condense down. And when you see this kind of should line up with the crotch, does that look about right? It feels about right. Then this is going to fold down. It's like a side filler, and this should go into it. So now this little thing here must be below that. There it goes. It's got to be below it. For it to work, we need to push this piece here like so and get this back, and do the same thing on the other side. And let's just go ahead and do that. So one of the problems with a stylized figure for me, and it might just be a me thing, is that like I'm looking at it and I'm like, is that right? And I got to check the references and boxes. Does that really match up, and the instructions, all that kind of stuff? But I believe that is the correct way. Oh, gotta get that all the way out. All right. Because of the fact that it's just like, oh yeah, that's exactly how it should look. No. Let's go ahead and we're going to push this piece back here and this one back. So maybe that will help it go in a little bit smoother this time. And then it has to go all the way back. So this notch is below there. Fold this up, and then now that should be easier than the firstest one. And the firstest one. All right, now I don't know how I let this happen. The crotch is supposed to be above this. That's number one. Number two, we need to rotate this so we can finish all this fun stuff. And then we are going to fold all this back here and make sure everything is still aligned on it and tabbed together and closed up. And then we have this done, and make sure these side pieces are tabbed in. And this last wing here, all the way out. And then we can put the front guns on. So let's go ahead and do that. You can fold these handles in. They're kind of hard to get out, so I don't want to fold them all the way in. For me personally, that's just a me personally thing. And we're more or less there with the jet mode. And maybe we want to put those up. Yeah, let's put those up. And there it is. Both of them transform in their alt mode. All right, so looking at these guys, they look okay. They look fine. This actually does look pretty darn close to the G1-1, and yeah, we'll be looking at that here in a minute. One thing real quick is that you want to fold this up, and then there's a hole slot there. There's a tab. This handle will plug into that. Ugh. Get in there. There, nice and smooth. So that is going to work. Weapon storage, and his weapon storage has always been there since G1. Right there on his shoulders. Works fine. Looks good. One of the things about this thing being stylized is, like I say, I can't tell you exactly what's correct. Having these little wingtips notched down a little bit, is that correct or straight out? So, I mean, I'm not 100% sure on that because it's stylized. But I still think it looks like a pretty cool looking jet. Again, Hyptron is one of probably my fourth favorite combiner. I do like him because he has so much that kind of feels like it's in common with Superions. That's kind of what I like about him for the most part, and they're really clean. These actually do roll, both roll. They do feel solid once they're in their alt mode. Like you start getting things tabbed together and click together. This part here is probably the least solid part, but the whole overall figure, both of them feel very, very, very solid when they're in their alt mode. Whether or not you had fun getting there, that's your choice, your opinion on that one. So now with this, what are we going to compare them to? Well, obviously I got kind of a gimpy G1. Let's get into that. This one's missing this front end. It's like a spare. I mean, I ended up with some spare combiner parts. Oh, guess what? I didn't transform that right. All right, spare. And you just get an idea for size. About the same size, slightly larger than the vintage, a bit larger. Not big enough that you'd say it'd be even Hasbro scale, because it's still in the Legends. Now, when it comes to this guy, and we're looking at the G1 presence of scale, I'm just going to show the... oh, I'm even afraid to spread the wings on it. I even thought I was overreacting about all the parts I broke combining all the combiners, getting every combiner more or less complete and combined. I broke multitude of parts just combining them. And lucky for me, I had a whole bunch of them. Now, some of it is because I had brittle, like really poorly stored brittle pieces. But there it is. I guess now the more I look at it, I could just turn these. Can I? Oh, I'm not going to touch it. I'm going to touch it. It's going to break. It's going to snap. G1's going to snap. This might bother some of you alt mode fans, but you've got to have the right size for a true Legends combiner. And yeah, alt modes are way bigger than everything else you're used to when it comes to Legends. All right, for a combine mode, we are going to need to pretty much undo everything that we have done here. Pretty much. And that's just the way it is. This should come up. That little hood movement there. This little hood movement here. And then they should still connect together like in the front toes area. We have to split all this apart. Obviously the goal here is going to be to get this combiner joint out. So that's the goal. Move these sideways. And then we need to open this up. We're going to flip this around, and the head is going to go in here to where the combining port once was. We can't have that in there anymore. I don't think that's going to fit right. Not going to have the best fitment. Then this should go back. Wait, it's never going back. Yeah, we gotta go back to sort of reverting to where this was before. All right, so one thing I guess I wasn't getting at first. This whole thing comes down. So this is something I wasn't getting. This whole thing here comes down. I wasn't seeing that at first, which is that's kind of strange. Oh, one thing we have to do so that it will go down, we need to get move these things out the way so that it will go all the way like it's supposed to. Yeah, this is definitely stylized. There's no questioning the stylization of the direction this one's going. It's more stylized than I anticipated. There is, the hip flap is actually a tab that's going to go into this notch on both sides so that we'll secure these so they don't float around, but so you know you've got them in exactly where they want you to put them and it looks the way they want it to. And then this, I feel like this needs to come up a little bit more. Yep, I knew there was something with that. So what you want to do is split this, and so there's a tabs here and here that go into here and here. At least that's how it looks to me. To make that more stable. So you want this thing solid as a rock, so that's the goal here. Make it solid as a rock, and it, okay, so notches here, tabs here, and it should, oh, there it goes. You want this thing solid. This is a point that has to be solid or it's not going to work. So I think I tab stuff doing that, but you know, let's go back around and keep tabbing all that in, make sure the windshield goes underneath that hood, and then get these hip flap tabs back in place. And I think we're pretty solid on it after that. All right, getting this guy transformed up, I took those off, and we are going to untab this, and we are going to kind of undo everything we've done up here, pulling all this fun stuff out, and then lift up on, well, that all came out nice and easy, didn't it? Tuck that back down. We need to get this connector joint out of here. Get out of here. There's no paint, so nothing really to worry about scratching. Lift that up so we can get this out. Audi 5000. Get this head back in here. There we go with all of that. We need to get these arms here up out of the way. So these are going to do some weird stuff, going to fold around onto themselves. They need to fold on the other side, this way. And we are also going to fold all of this stuff here up like we had it before, and these need to come out so it lays flat and it gives a little bit of angle to it. Same thing over here, so this needs to come down and around on that hinge like so. Next we need to pull on this to reveal the joint, the hardware that we are going to be utilizing, and that's probably going to be the better way to do that. Then we are going to take this hand and slide it into here, and with that we are going to fold all of this up onto itself, kind of like so. And then we have to put these other parts back on here like we've had them, and we've more or less got the arm in place. You can do some other stuff. You can fold those in, leave those out, however you like. At this point would be a good time to make a proper fist. I'm still baffled whether or not Computron's left-handed or not. I don't know. We do have some hardware here. We need to flip that up there. We're going to have these two tabs that come together and make one. Two hearts become one. Two tabs become one tab slot. And then this, there's a slot and a notch right there. And then I think that's pretty much done. And again, let me just be straight up with you on this. I like this set, and I like the way these look. Just there's what they're saying it should look like. Oh, these can angle up a little bit more, so you can see. The reason I say this is because they're stylized, and when they're stylized, it's like, oh yeah, that's exactly what it should look like. I remember it looking like. Feels like this should come up a little higher, but anyway, that's pretty much there. All right, now to get them on here, what you do is you bend this back and expose the insertion point, and then you slide it in nice and easy. Then you wiggle it, straighten it out, yeah, well, something like that. I don't got time for later. I remember where the gun goes. It goes right here. Check it out. That's where the gun goes. That's why you take it out of there. This gun's there. This gun's there. It has full weapon storage. So I knew it had weapon storage. Anyway, let's get up to the top. And we're going to slide this arm into here. So because these are all different, this isn't Scramble City. So these connectors are different than the leg connectors. And so it is what it is. What it is, and this is finally, we have completed this bad boy, and we are going to get to take a good look at this. All right, so here he is in his combined form, and I will say I went through and tried to match up every little bit of this to the picture. I did fold those wings in. They have these guns on his forearms. I don't like that. I like them up here. So I'm going to do what I want with that. But for the most part, because it's stylized, like, I guess just do what you want. It's yours anyway, do what you want. But they have these angled up, just like they can be at whatever angle you want them to be. I actually kind of think they look better just straight down, though. That looks, to me, that's more. Of course, I'm always trying to get it. How G1 can I get it? I'm the G1er. I'm a G1er. But I still like the way this looks. And to me, these aren't based on any real world alt modes. So the fact that they're not based on real world alt modes means you can pretty much do whatever you want with it, or what they wanted to do with it. And so is there a perfect, I don't know. Is there a perfect look to it? And there's some options. Pretty much with every figure, there's options for play or display or posability. So yeah, it's a good looking figure. That's all I gotta say. And for Computron, like, definitely works for me. The only thing I don't like, I would have liked it if there was a way that this thing could have gone straight up and down instead of poke out like that. The drill bit piece, but everything else on them I think looks great. Quite posable. So let's show some articulation on this bad boy, which I'm not sure if I did in the last video, but we didn't have it fully completed then. And then we're going to get into some comparisons coming up. All right, let's get a good look at this head here, side to side, up and down on a ball joint, and it kind of holds any angle that you want, and he can look straight up like, oh man, Unicron's coming. Omega Supreme's mad at me. Shoulders, you got the 360. You go out, good hardware built into it. You can go out to there, messes with his head. The bicep swivels right here, and you got decent. See, you got to move this just right. Decent, almost the 90 at the elbow, but there it starts bumping into itself. So it's not the hardwares, it's the figures. And you've got 3 points of articulation on the rest of the fingers, 2 on the thumb, and fully articulated, and they splay. So you can slap waist swivel. I believe he's got a... Nope, no ab crunch. Just the swivel. No crunch. Let's go ahead and stay on this side, I guess. Open up all the hip flap stuff that it's got going on. This is just purely hardware at this point that is going on. It goes all the way to here. Ratcheted. Not wretched. And I could probably get that pretty easy. There's some good hardware on this figure. Oh. Yeah. I mean, that's solid. Solid as a rock. And people usually, well, we don't usually have ratchets in Legends, but then again, this is just hardware that's made separate. Thigh, so finally to the thigh. Knee that is built in. Be careful because then you could slide out your lower leg there. And then foot, ankle tilts, a little bit of toe. And yes, so you have to have the right or left, correct foot on the correct side, or you're not going to have the correct articulation. So it's what I expect from a Legends combiner. It's nothing super stellar. He's not going to be doing Spider-Man poses, but I wouldn't want that anyway. All right, we've got these pieces. Now, I wanted to wait till after I did articulation because I feel like they might pop out if I'm too rough with them. I think this is how they're supposed to go in. I don't see any other way. Filler pieces for it. So that's how that's supposed to look, I'm guessing. Looks nice, but honestly, I don't think I would have noticed one way or another whether they included those or not, but it's a nice touch. I mean, there's going to be enough parts for me the way it is. Another astonishing, mind-blowing revelation. He's bigger than vintage G1. I'm not shocked at all. Not shocked. G1 Computron feels a lot like it's got some Superion vibes with having a couple jets in there, but yet it's got different vehicles too. So it's like a amalgamation of different vehicles, and it works. Actually, he works really well. I have these reversed on mine, so that's just the way it is. It's not the end of the world or anything. I always wondered why I can't get that foot right on the G1. I don't care. I'm just happy he stands, and yes, you have to flip it around. You'd see the back of that. So it's just how you want your stuff. Tell me how you want it. This is the Magic Square version of Bruticus, and I like it. It's clean. It's pretty much exactly what I want. Like, I don't need another Legends Bruticus, and once I'm done with their Masterpiece one, I won't need another Masterpiece Bruticus for the rest of my life. So there we are with that. But looking at this fits fine too. Like, in my mind, Computron, and we'll bring the G1 over, was a lot busier than the average G1 figure in the first place. Let's see, he was a lot busier as a G1 figure. So this works for me. I don't need another one. I'm not saying I wouldn't do a Magic Square one, but I still think that overall, A, this is here, it exists. B, it's, even though it's stylized, it works. And C, it's cheaper than what a Magic Square one is going to cost, especially in the future, Marty. All right, so here he is. Let's get the Legends in there a little bit better. With some Legends figures in there, this Magic Square Optimus Prime and all this Magic Square stuff. I have more Magic Square than New Age, but for the most part, they're sort of matching up now, size and scale-wise, with these bigger figures. The smaller ones are smaller, and the biggers are close to the same. And then I will strategically swap out with some of these. These are Aldi / YOLO Park. I think actually these are all YOLO Park, but you can get an idea of kind of some YOLO Park figures. The new mini model kit ones I've just reviewed, and I actually feel like they scale well too with that. All that works together for me, as you can see. And some people are like, you shouldn't count stuff that doesn't transform. I know how you feel, but there it goes. All right, so what are my thoughts on this? Craftsman Toys, their version is Tacticlord. Their version of a very G1-esque Superion. I actually do think that they did a good job with it. It's a good figure overall, and I love the parts forming aspect. It is stylized. To say you're reviewing just these two figures of the set is kind of a fallacy. You're actually reviewing the whole set now that we're finishing it, and these two figures are pretty much the same, very much in line with what we have been seeing from this in the past, and I like it. Again, this is just the character. Would I say every single combiner should be made this stylized? No, but I can definitely personally get with it because of the past history of Computron and in the G1. He does have all the articulation that I would need, but he doesn't quite have as much as, say, a Magic Square because of his bulkiness. The G1 sleek designs do offer much better articulation with less bulkiness, but with that, I don't need a ton of articulation, so for me personally, it's fine. But anyway, I did have a link to this at Showzy Store where you can still get yours while they're still in stock. Remember, TH and support the reviewer, help the channel out, and let me know what you think about this guy. Are you interested in getting this? Are you passing on this? Do you not think that this is an important enough character? Or are you happy that somebody is actually tackling this in the Legends scale? The only Legends scale Computron that you can get today here in 2025. But I'd like to hear from you guys in the comments below. Like and subscribe. Teddy Hanger out.
No one can disarm me. No one. No. What do we do, Grimlock? The Terracon's turned into a giant. Do not fear, Abominus, for you have the power to become Computron. Merge! I am Computron. My computation capacity is nearly infinite, yet I lack the intelligence to feed my capacity. Who are you? Name, Computron. Primary goal, obliterate Decepticon.